Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our next hot takes video. We just read your stupid shit that you put online and we critique it and we make fun of you. Today we have yet another person to join the crew. We have Stanley557. Say hello.
Hello there, fellow zombie slayers. My name is Stanley557. Welcome back to another amazing Call of Duty Zombies video.
You are my sun.
That intro is too crisp. It's too crisp. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be reading your hot takes. This is a series that I do. I bring different guests every single time. And I keep saying they get better, but I'm not lying. They're getting better, all right? But we're not going to waste your guys' time. We're going to jump right into it. And Stanley, as you are our guest, we'll have you read our first take off, man.
Thank you. We got from Gree. I don't really care if Double Tap ever returns for Black Ops 6 Zombies. What I want to see back is Death Perception. That perk was useful, even in round-based zombies, due to armor penetration bonus and salvage bonus.
I'll let you cook.
Thank you. So here we are. Personally, I understand we don't have the complete need for Double Tap 2. Now, Double Tap 1, I kind of agree with that. I would love to see back. I think there's a ton of slow-firing weapons that could absolutely benefit from it. Now, getting Death Perception back, it's got some good perks to it, but I would like to see Death Perception kind of rolled in some of the augments. I think that would make it really useful.
Yeah. I think Death Perception, I think I will agree that in Cold War, Death Perception definitely got a good buff, especially with armored zombies, especially with some of the things he does talk about here. I would love to see something of Double Tap being featured in the game. A lot of people have been comparing the reason, saying, okay, Double Tap isn't in this game because of the weapon rarity system and because of elemental pop, and those kind of already buff your weapon. So they don't see really a need for Double Tap. But I think on guns where it's a semiotic weapon, slower automatic weapons, those things could really use a faster fire rate. And if they're not going to add in something like rapid fire, Double Tap is that perfect alternative. Now, could Double Tap just be an augment, something within elemental pop? I think that's possible. But would I rather see Double Tap or Death Perception within this next game? Honestly, if I had it just to me, I'd rather see something brand new. I'd rather see something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's a good point. I totally agree. Like, we have Melee Macchiato, which is cool, but I'd say we've seen Ethereal Razor, we've seen Slappy Taffy, we've seen, I think it's called, I think it's Kugel Blitz in World War II.
Man.
I like to see...
What a throwback, yeah.
I know. I would love to see something new, especially with how many we got in Black Ops 4. I know they're trying to kind of curate it due to the augments, so hopefully we see something cool in the later maps.
Yeah, we'll get on to another take that we saw later about this perk system, so I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I just would love to see that, you know, we're seeing innovation in so many other parts of this game. I would love to see that added into the perk system as well, and not just every DLC cycle being, okay, we're about to reintroduce new meal kick. We're going to have to reintroduce Death Perception. Kind of that idea.
I mean,
but
in
thank you, Gree, for the take. Yeah,
in Cold War, they were even going to do that. They almost had Double Tap coming back, but then they just slipped in Death Perception at the last second.
Yeah, and we didn't see a new perk in Cold War, except for Elemental Pop, right?
Yeah, just at launch, that was it.
That BO6 does something different with that, because I don't like that trend. I want to see new shit. But Gree, that's not a bad take, actually. It's just, I would probably prefer Double Tap over Death Perception. But that's not me saying Death Perception's bad. I'm just saying I would prefer Double Tap.
So side tangent real quick. I saw immediately who the next person is. This is one of my homies right here. I love Gravity.
All right, I'll read out Gravity and we'll get your initial thoughts here. Gravity says the ray gun should remain one of the most powerful wonder weapons in the game, but difficult to get. The PhD slider should be the standard for the perk, and flopper should be an augment.
Ooh, I like that, actually.
Two different parts of this take. First off, the ray gun should remain one of the most powerful wonder weapons. Yes. Just literally make it like it is in Cold War.
Yeah.
Just do that. Don't mess with it. Don't try to tweak it. Don't try to balance it. The ray gun is fun to use in Cold War for the first time since Black Ops 2. Like, keep it that way. Flopper as PhD slider, I don't know if I want it as an augment. Rather, something you could just toggle in the menu. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So, with me, I totally agree. I think the ray gun is at its best when it's iconic. It's the most powerful weapon that you can get on the map. And making it difficult to get to it should feel like a special wonder weapon. It should feel like the most powerful thing that you've ever come across, and it looks like a hairdryer.
Yeah.
And then for the second part, I actually agree. I would love PhD Slider to be the standard, especially in Cold War. Something I think that was very underrated about PhD Slider was that it wasn't only just explosive resistance. It was a very good tactics perk. It was super good for movement and getting you away from the enemy if you were like in close, especially an Outbreak. It was really good at that too.
Yeah, Outbreak. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree, because in Cold War, that distance you slide is so far. It's insane. So fast. And you don't even have to be, like, with that slider perk, you don't even have to be sort of sliding from falling down from air. You can just slide into zombies and kill them.
Yeah, it's literally
it's a
slide
great escape
improvement
perk as well. So
100%.
it's got both those things. Now, I hope we see that in the base perk and then other augments that can be sort of leveled up on it. But if it talks about movement with PhD Slider and Flopper, I believe you'll be able to do both in this game, slide and dive, because of the Omni movement system. Like, I'm pretty sure that the PhD effect will be able to be used on both systems, or both, you know, sorts of movement, no matter what you're doing, whether you're sliding or diving, because Omni movement is just basically the whole identity of movement in this game. You even see in the trailer in a section where he dolphin dives backwards and it goes off. You see that in a gameplay section of the Terminus trailer. So I think it's not going to be an augment. I think it's just going to be a base thing that is going to be applied to both uses, not just sliding.
Okay, so I feel bad for saying this. So in one of the trailers, you can see it's called PhD Floppers, the perk, and there's another trailer where they talk about augments, and when they're talking about augments, they play a clip of PhD Slider.
No way!
So,
oh, dude, now you're calling me out.
And it even does the Cold War effect where, like, you get the increased movement and everything, and then it explodes when you hit something.
Okay. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? Are these perks going to feel dumbed down from the Cold War counterparts because they're not upgrade?
I thought of that too. Absolutely. I was making a video predicting the augments, and part of what I did was that I would take abilities that you get in Cold War. For example, with, like, Jug, I made one of the abilities increased armor durability. That was an upgrade in Cold War. For Quick Revive, you get, if you go down, you can use self-medication. That was a crystal ability. So they're probably going to split a lot of them up like that.
And I think they're going to do that not just with perks, but with the ammo mods as well. Because if you look
100%.
at one part of the gameplay trailer, they show parts of Energy Mine, and the exact same Energy Mine upgrades are the exact same from Cold War. It's just, like, longer duration. You also have the effect from Dead Ops Arcade, which obviously that's
that's super cool. I'm happy they ported that over. That's a really cool idea to do with it.
I really, really like that. And it fits Energy Mine well. So we're going to see old things and we're going to see new things. And I think no matter what, I think Trek has done a really good job at making every game feel different. And not you, like they talked about crutch perks, but not you feel like you're kind of just playing and all your progress is out of the game. Rather, you're going to be upgrading these perks while you're playing. But Gravity, that's a pretty good take. I agree. The ray gun should 100% be a powerful weapon, not just a cool one to look at or a hairdryer, as Stanley said.
Jewel the Ghoul says, I miss when the Gobblegum machine only had one location and rotated like the box, because it made you explore the different areas to find the gum machine. Trying the new one does the same, so I'm 95% sure it doesn't do that, but we'll humor it for a second. I kind of agree. I think, especially when I think of Black Ops 3 with how they wanted you to use the Gobblegum system, they wanted you to explore the map. It was supposed to be difficult to get a Gobblegum. It cost 500 points. It was always moving around after about 2 to 3 hits, and you didn't know where it went. Then the game slowly got faster, Gobblegums got more overpowered, and it kind of became more part of the ecosystem of the game that you would pick it up for free, grab whatever ability it was, and then that's what you would run to the races with. They were so powerful, the original balance of it was that they were hard to find. But then they kind of just threw that out the window. So how do you feel about that? Especially when you consider the new mechanics where you can grab it and hold 3.
I mean, the new mechanics to grab to hold 3, I think, helps the idea that it could move around. But I don't know. Because on one hand, I think it would be cool for something like this to happen if the Gobblegum machine was able to be detected through something in the sky, like the mystery box. Because in the mystery box, you can detect that with the light. I think if they did have a moving Gobblegum, whether it is in the air or maybe like something next to the machine, I think there's got to be some indicating to you where it is.
That's a good point.
Like when it comes to just gameplay, especially in a 4P match, this could just seem as a kind of an annoyance, sort of something that seems a bit tedious when you're just trying to get something that you've already earned. You know what I mean?
Especially with how big Terminus is too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I like the idea of it moving around like the box, because it doesn't have the same like mechanics of the box where you can get a random anything. You know what I mean? It's 5 that you specifically put in. So I don't know if I like that idea. I'm not really there for it, Jewel. I'm not really there for it, Jewel the Ghoul.
Because I think back to Shadows at launch too, where you would have to learn like all 7 locations, because if you didn't know the one spot it went, you'd be looking around forever.
Yeah, I mean, like, but that's why I say, you know, there should be some indicator, because I feel like if there was, people would be more down with that. If there was
100%.
an indicator, maybe even like Mr. Peaks like dancing or something. I don't know, but just
Oh
something like
yeah, or even like a dark
something-
purple light. That's just for that.
Yeah,
like how one of
that'd
his
be
has like
dope.
the lightning.
yeah, that would be dope. Or even like in Kino, where right next to the box location it tells you on the map where it is.
Yeah, a little
If
map.
you don't
for
want to make it in the sky, you do the same thing for the Gobblegum system.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
But I actually kind of like the idea. I'm not fully on board with it, Jewel. You might have to convince me. All right, Jewel the Ghoul. Especially with that profile picture. No, I'm kidding. But I don't hate the idea, so I'll give you credit where credit is due. But our next take here is from Grease Grab. It says, I'm still worried about the new crew. Okay. I've seen clips and they're just talking about this. They're just talking about the state they're in and not showing any personality. I'm wondering that if they aren't funny or unique, they're gonna fall flat. Also, humor is what makes a COD Zombies crew so good. I'm gonna let you start off with this one. What do you think about this?
Oh, okay. This is the I read this comment when it popped up. I almost responded to it with an essay. So I think the way these crews are written and received is completely subjective. I think humor is a part of it, but when I think of crews that are some of my favorite, it's do they have a story to tell, or do they feel like unique characters? Do they feel like that they're interacting with the world around them, they're not just oblivious to what's going on, for like something like IW? I think of
just
one
point
of my
that to it.
favorites, despite how complicated they are and kind of mundane. I love the Chaos Crew, especially characters like Diego, characters like Bruno, characters that have a lot more going on underneath the surface. They're intelligent, they're smart, they react to the world around them, and I like to think that Zombies is made up of calculating characters who are deep that you can get into, not just humor. I think humor is a good place to start, and then as you dig deeper, you learn who they are as people, and that's where you get connected to them.
Yeah.
As for the crew themselves, real quick,
Yeah, no problem.
we don't know enough about them. I'm connected to them personally because I love Cold War and I read all the intel for it. I got super attached to it, but for a normal person who might not have read every single piece of intel, I can totally understand there's a lot of heavy lifting that has to be done to make them memorable.
I really like the way this crew has come out, because listen, the footage that they've shown of the crew talking between each other, they're not going to show off some crazy in-depth story in the trailers and the info dives and everything they've done, because they're going to save that for when you're actually doing the Easter egg and getting those story bits out. They're not going to show that initially. And also when we see that cinematic trailer intro, you right away get multiple motives of different characters right away. You get the motive of Maya looking for a brother. You get the motive of Peck trying to take out Richtofen for stealing his life's work. You get the motive of Weaver and the entire Requiem crew trying to get revenge on Richtofen. This is going to be a game where Richtofen is a villain, kind of the first time since, like, the old Ether story back in Black Ops 1. So that is going to be a pretty unique dynamic, and we really just don't have enough to really say, yeah, this crew is not it. We just don't have enough.
Yeah.
And humor, yes, is great within a crew. I mean, yes, it was hilarious, all the stereotypes of the old Ultimus crew. But I agree with you. Maybe I'm not the biggest fan of Chaos, honestly. I know you're a huge Voyage of Despair lover, Stanley, I know. But for me, a crew that I think really stands out is the Mob crew. Like, those characters have such unique, in-depth background storylines, especially Billy and Weasel. And not just the main crew themselves, but side characters like Stanley Ferguson and other things as well. There's a lot of crews throughout the history that, you know, haven't been on the funny side, like Ultimus, like Primus can be, but have been really grounded in their story. Something like Mob of the Dead, even Shadows, even, you know, maybe a little bit of Chaos, because I did like Diego and Bruno. So, yeah, I don't think we just have enough to really talk about that the new crew is going to be anything. I don't really think we have enough to make a judgment on them yet.
I agree.
I 100% agree. We don't got enough. So, but thank you, Grease Grab. I hope you're wrong, honestly, because I hope they're good, and I think they will be. I trust Craig Houston. He's a good writer.
I agree.
But our next take from here is from
Enjoyer of stuff.
We'll just let you read it.
Let's see. I fear Black Ops 6 will only introduce one new perk and reintroduce older perks throughout the DLC season like the Cold War game. The way they did it then was good, then fully upgraded versions was even better than the original. Tombstone is still a disappointment, but I like new shit. So
This is
we
literally
were
what
just
we were
talking
talking
about this
about.
earlier. I know, yeah, right for this.
Yeah, earlier I said we're gonna go into this later, so I didn't want to get too in depth. This is the one I'm talking about, where into the DLC cycle, are they gonna bring in new Gobblegums? Or not Gobblegums? Are they gonna bring in new perks? Are they gonna bring in new augments for existing perks? What would you like to see more? What do you want to see returning? Do you want to see new? What are you looking for?
I think, like anything in this series, a healthy mix of both is good, but if I had to pick one or the other, I would love to see something new, something that's going to shock me. Something not like Zomshell, that might be a bit too specific. I want to see something that is still useful, which I think is a bit of a dilemma that the developers have. How do you make something new and original without making it too niche that you wouldn't just grab Jug and Speedcola first?
Yeah. And I think the best way to do that is really make perks around the mechanics and systems that are built into that base game. Like, you think about this new BO6 game, right? What are some very important things that are going to be a part of every match? Armor, Gobblegum, mystery box. Build perks around those things. Because all the best perks that I can think of off the top of my head all relate into things that you are going to constantly come across of. Jug is your health. Speed pull is your reload. You do that every time, every game. Quick revive is reviving. You do that all the time. Double tap is shooting. You do that all the time. Yeah. Stamina up's running. So really base your perks around things you do every game, not specific things that, like you said, Zomshell, that's only going to go off every once in a while and isn't going to be super helpful if you're not using the right playstyle.
Absolutely. That's something I thought of. Like, I would play custom maps, and one of the things I noticed is that custom maps will just kind of give perks random abilities, which is fine. It's custom map at the end of the day. But I think of, like, what makes a perk memorable is something that it's going to affect a core feature of your character. For example, Omni Movement is a really big thing in this game. And I know we already have Stamina, but maybe you can introduce a perk that fully embraces what Omni Movement is and finding new ways to utilize it, especially if this is a big thing for this game. I think a perk like that would be really cool.
Yeah, Omni Movement, armor system, I think would be a great thing as
yeah,
well.
something that benefits that. Yeah, like even Victorious Tortoise, but something offshooted from that.
Yeah, Victorious Tortoise was great because the shield system is an integral part of the game, and you can use Victorious Tortoise at any moment.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, there was perks in BO4 that did this very well, and if you're gonna, and there was also perks in BO4 that only really worked when you were playing a certain way. So I'm worried that Melee Macchiato is gonna be a perk where unless you really like to melee, unless some augment move, it's your playstyle is not gonna fit. I'm an Easter egg player. I'm a run and gun player. I don't like to do high rounds. I don't like to camp. It's not my playstyle. Is Melee Macchiato gonna be for me? I don't know. But that's just something we gotta see. We don't quite know yet. So maybe the augments change it. But I agree with your original take saying I'd much rather see new shit rather than old things that I haven't seen yet. So 100%. That's a good take, though. We've been, you know, the takes this video have not been bad. Like, usually I come in here and it's just some dog. I'll be like, and half the time they don't even follow the prompt. But today, you guys are doing well. You guys are doing well. So golf clap. But it's still, we still have time to go to shit. All right. Perkaholics Gaming here with the next take saying, being able to switch up your Gobblegums mid-game might make the whole thing a little too OP. Guess it depends on what gums we're even getting. Hanging on to the 301 seems like a lot, but I'm not complaining, lol. We know we're getting OP Gobblegum. They've already told us we are. So, that's on the table. Perkaholics on the table. Free Wonder Weapon out of the box on the table. These are max ammo, fire sale. They're all here. So, we're definitely getting overpowered Gobblegum. What do you think about the idea of being able to switch between 3 instead of only having to hold 1?
I have an infinitely complicated answer for this. Number one, I hope that it's more. I hope it's balanced. I think Black Ops 4's, as much as I hate the elixir system, I love it, but I hate it. The elixirs are more balanced around the fact that you could technically use them every single round. With this, you can hold on to these Gobblegums, hold 3 at a time. I hope that they strike a good balance between not as overpowered, but still useful to have. Because in Black Ops 4, they weren't even that good. I think of Perkaholic will be infinitely more balanced because of the fact there's no perk limit. So having that at you at all times, if you need it or if you go down, you can pop it. It's almost no different than just going right to Wonder Fizz and buying all 8 perks that are on the map.
Yeah,
so I think
the
system the system's balanced by certain other systems being changed. So I really hope that that's something that's going to be taken into account when they design new Gobblegums. But I agree. I think holding on to 3 at once might be a bit too much. Having 4 on Black Ops 4 is really overpowered, but I also only use classics on Black Ops 4, so I never really thought about it too much.
I mean, yeah.
But what do you think, man?
I mean, I'm thinking like this. The issue with Black Ops 4 is the earn rate. That was the biggest issue with that game. The earn rate was terrible. And so it would make you get these mega Gobblegums, whether they're just in plain sight or they're an ultra rare mega, and you wouldn't want to use it because you don't think you're going to get another one for so long. If the earn rate in this game is going to be better than Black Ops 4, which I'm assuming it's going to be, that was a big complaint. So if the earn rate in this game is going to be better than something like Black Ops 4, I think that this system is going to do itself justice. And other systems that are in place, like the perk limit, I didn't even think of that. Like the trial system, like other things, like, what's that called? Where it makes the rounds go faster.
Oh, Rampage Inducer.
Yeah, Rampage Inducer. Other things like that, systems within the game, those are going to deeply affect Gobblegums, and I think that they're going to make them more balanced because the abilities that Gobblegums will have won't seem so far-fetched.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Did you hear what the actual earn rate is in this game?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Do you want me to tell you?
Go for it.
If I'm not mistaken,
I think
this was. I think Dalek brought up in one of his videos. He basically said that you earn Gobblegums every few rounds. So the higher the round you go, the better rarities that you get, and like the higher chance it's gonna be something good.
I'm guessing that's gonna be the same for Easter eggs. Like if you complete an Easter egg,
yeah, you get a couple. I think.
So there's no longer a middle currency, is what you're telling me. There's no longer.
No, you earn it by playing the game. You can grind them out by playing the game. Bundles are a different story. There might be Gobblegum bundles. They might come bundled with operators, but the main point is if you play the game and get to a high enough round, you have a better chance of getting good things.
That is. Okay, well let's talk about that real quick. What do you think of that?
I am over the moon about that. I'm one of those pitchfork holders, down with the Dr. Maya's factory, down with the ability to buy 50 liquid divinium and do openings. I want to play the game for hours on end and just earn Gobblegums and never use them, but have like a billion sitting in the back if I ever need them. What about you?
I 100% agree. I was waiting for like Mr. Peak's factory, bro. That's what I was waiting for. Collecting bunny eggs. Like, that's what I was thinking of. But if you earn them in game, and you do Easter eggs, you do exfils, you do other things, and you get higher rounds and they get better, I think that's great. I think that's awesome.
100%, yeah.
Okay, Kevin Drew. You're making me stand up, Kevin Drew. All right. All right. Well, let me read the next take while I dance.
Oh, donuts. Let's go. With the right layout, the HUD is fine. The Gobblegum is a sub-menu that retracts off the screen per $JD, and the assets are very clean and minimal. The only problem will be the medals, kill feed, and the calling card in the top right if we can't turn it off. Okay.
Well, you can.
So this whole thing's about the HUD. Let's talk about that. What do you think of HUDs in the previous game? Let's just talk about Cold War's mainly. What do you think of Cold War's HUD?
I like Cold War's HUD, except for I think the mini-map and compass is unnecessary. But I think everything else about the HUD is great. I think it's minimalistic. I think it's simple. I think it's not doing too much. I don't think a compass is necessary. I don't think a mini-map is necessary. I do like Cold War's HUD a lot. I don't look at the HUD, I'm like, ugh, I like it a lot. One thing that I saw on another tweet as well from Expert, because he's doing an unpopular opinions video, is people were talking about map-specific HUDs and how that isn't a returning feature. And I think that we might be deviating from the topic a little bit, even though I think the HUD is good. But I would like to see stuff like that return. I think it gives a lot of personality to a map. So when I think of the older game HUDs, I'm thinking of that buried HUD. You know, I'm thinking of the Origins HUD. I'm thinking of the Shadows HUD, because those are so different from anything else. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah. That's the one everyone calls to is BO2, early BO3, where they did a whole bunch of different HUDs. I would love to see that. I also would just personally like, again, a Zombies unique HUD. Just like, if I look at it and I could see it between multiplayer and campaign, I know I'm watching Zombies. Just completely off that. But I guess back to the topic. The only problem with the medals, kill feed, and the calling card on the top right, what do you think of medals and kill feed showing up?
I like the kill feed. I thought it was satisfying to kill zombies and see it on your left. I thought that was cool. I don't mind all of it, honestly. What do you think? Because I like Cold War.
Yeah, I love Cold War, but that's where we're gonna fight. I consider the kill feed and medals to be like TikTok, ADHD, Subway Surfers gameplay, where the developers are so afraid that I'm not into it enough. I need to be told that I'm doing good and getting 5 kills in a row. And how many zombies am I gonna kill? Thousands. Congratulations! You just didn't get hit by a mimic. Thanks. How many mimics am I gonna kill? What's that?
Honestly,
billion mimics?
Honestly, that's kind of an accomplishment, not getting sucked in by a mimic. I mean, I want a medal for that. Okay, but I mean, we're talking about Cold War here. We're talking about the medals. I mean, if we talk about HUDs, we all know there's a sore thumb there. There's one that everyone talks about. And I know you love BO4, and I do like it too.
Hey, I love BO4. That HUD though, it ain't pretty to look at. The face only a mother could love.
Nothing's only. Ah, dude, like, I'm so happy you said that, man. I was worried you were gonna
Don't
be
worry.
like,
No, I'm not like enough of a shill to be like, no, guys, it's actually kind of good if you just ignore this. And no, it's really bad. I think
the nerd emoji.
over information and putting too many mechanics on screens what happened to BO4. So I'm really happy to see them kind of consolidate and better fix to make the HUD look nicer. So hopefully we're gonna see that in the new game. In Cold War, they did a pretty good job at that.
Although mini-map and compass, I think, is unnecessary.
I turn compass off every time. I wish I could get rid of the mini map, but you can't.
Yeah.
So
and I'm looking at his gameplay. I'm looking at his gameplay right here, right? That looks like a clean HUD. I am totally fine with playing that. If I can just have that preset, maybe put the round on the top right. That's kind of what I'm used to. I think that's a great HUD. I would not mind.
So
Donuts,
if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Donuts is like he made this as like this is what it should look like.
Oh, okay. Well, because I know that obviously you can. Yeah, I know they talked about you can turn off things in the HUD. You can move it around. So I just assumed this was sort of like a YouTuber's gameplay of moving it around. Even
no, he made this. This is a screenshot from one of the dev trailers, so he had all the stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is good though. If I can do this is good.
Yeah, 100%.
I like it. All right. Thank you very much, Donuts. All right, our next take here from
Joe. We love Joe.
A focus on round-based is great and appreciated. Or did I read? Oh no, yeah. But the lack of fun side modes that deviates from round-based is disappointing in my opinion. Either Dead Ops or Onslaught would be fairly low budget to make and would do wonders for gameplay variety on launch. Okay. We'll let you cook.
I'll say this. Joe is a big Onslaught lover, big Onslaught defender. I know I saw this comment coming from a mile away when we were making this video. So if you ask me, I'm more than okay with them going full in on this. I think of Black Ops 4 when I think of them trying different modes and it crashing and burning every time. Zombie Rush, which is terrible. Zombie Gauntlets, which I also think is terrible.
I like Zombie Rush, but anyway, sorry. I like Zombie Rush, but...
have you done the Dark Ops card for it? Like, you have to complete 415 waves on Voyage Rush? It's terrible. I love Voyage. It is asinine, but... Then there's Gauntlets, which are so terribly executed, I don't even want to get into that conversation. Yeah. But then I think of Cold War. Cold War introduced Crank, which is fun, but Cold War gameplay is already fast as is.
And Jingle Hells?
Jingle Hells. Okay. The Halloween one was actually really cool, but that wasn't a game mode. That was just on every map for like a few months. It was overpowered as hell.
Jingle Hells is my favorite game mode in Zombie.
And then you have Onslaught, Onslaught Containment, Onslaught Diminishing Light, Onslaught Mystery Mutations, Onslaught, there's like 3 more of them. We don't need this many Onslaughts.
Yeah, and then there's all 3 Dead Ops arcades. And if you want to go to Order Zombies, there's obviously Turn to Grief and stuff.
Yes, Turn and Grief.
But I think Dead Ops Arcade, like listen, I love Dead Ops Arcade, but has it kind of hit a ceiling? We've seen it.
I think Dead Ops 3. Dead Ops 3, I think was the peak of it. They did such a good job with that. Yeah. It's only downhill from there. Especially how many BO4 assets are in there. I
know. I don't think we can reach the ceiling that Dead Ops Arcade 3 did. And if we're gonna have new game modes, I'd rather it just be something unique to zombies, not something we've seen before. We keep talking about in this video, we want to see new. Yep. Let's see it on every aspect of the game. You know what I mean?
100%. So then for side modes, I would say if I had a choice between more side modes or better developed content that feels enriched, I'm going with the new content first, the new map.
100%.
If they have the time for it, great. If they don't, I'm not losing sleep over it. Just make Terminus. They say it's cool. They say they have the most amount of side eggs that they've ever had. That's what I want to see.
100%. That's what I want to see. All right, but honestly, listen, not a bad take, Joe. All right?
No, Joe, not at all.
Now, in this section, we're going to be getting into some YouTubers. We got only a couple takes left. we're gonna get into some other creators that dropped some comments on my tweet. So our first one right here is from a good one who's been on this page
Oh,
before.
there he is.
We'll have you read this off.
Thank you. The save and quit system will inevitably have some sort of glitch on launch that allows players to cheese into super high rounds and break the leaderboards.
Very well spoken. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very well spoken. Yeah. Just yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. I think it's gonna
So
happen.
I know they said in developer talks with the YouTubers, they say that if you use the save feature on a high round, it'll have an icon on the leaderboard for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
So
Okay.
yes, so I would say this is definitely up to ZWR to balance this, where it's like if you're going for a high round run, you have to either probably keep all your footage recorded, you have to probably keep the game on if you can, you have to. There's probably gonna be a lot of like integrity test for it to make sure people don't just abuse that.
Yeah, and I think it's like BO3 where you have your Gobblegum runs and your no Gobblegum runs. You know, I think they're probably just gonna have a whole separate menu for it, a whole separate like subgroup for it.
Yeah,
for
for saved
pause
games.
in and games that you don't pause in.
Yeah.
I think that's just gonna happen. So Shreevington, the quick answer is yes, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Quick question: what do you feel about leaderboards? I'm curious.
I think they're a good thing. I think leaderboards is a good thing. I wish they were like I would love for them to be fleshed out more. I think it's great to like compare with friends and stuff like that. But is this something that I think is completely necessary? No. I just think it's a nice little addition.
Yeah.
Because it's not multiplayer. You know, it's a PvE game.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you think?
That's for me, leaderboards have been, besides comparing what my personal, like I just need to know what my highest round. That's all I care about. Besides that, I could give I know like every COD at this point, if you go to the top 1,000 places, they're all hacked in every single COD previous to this point.
Yeah.
So it's never been something on my mind. People will hack a leaderboard because it's easy to do no matter what. I'd say as long as I have stats that show, like in BO3, you have stats show you what your highest round are. In BO4, it tells you how many times you completed the quest and how many, how fast you've done it. Those are the stats I care about.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But like I said, it's a PvE mode, so I don't really...
Absolutely, yeah,
I
PvE
don't
mode.
care too much.
So,
Our next take here from MZC. Liberty Falls will be an S-tier map. It'll be the best survival map we've ever gotten. The popularity will rise when people realize it's perfect for camo level / gum grinds. And yeah, that's gonna happen. This is going to be the giant of this game, where people are gonna, especially the casual audience, are gonna struggle with Terminus. Maybe initially they're gonna be overwhelmed, and they're gonna go, okay, you know, maybe I'm not ready for Terminus. Let's fall back on Liberty Falls. I can really see this being the giant of this game, even the classified of Black Ops 4. I don't know if it'll be an S tier map. Like I think it's just gonna get a lot of people playing it because it's more simplistic.
yeah, I totally agree with this. I don't think it'll be S tier. I think it's way too soon to say whether or not, but MCC, absolute GOAT. But I totally agree. I think they've learned their lessons from Black Ops 4 by making Voyage, 9, Blood of the Dead, Classified. They've learned their lessons by making Shadows overcomplicated and then having Giant be only content you could get if you pre-ordered the game.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yes. So I think they've learned their lesson. I totally expect Liberty Falls to be the map that's the more casual of the two. Both maps take place at the same time, so you're not really missing out on any story function. I know for Liberty Falls, that's the character map for the Terminus crew. Liberty Falls sets up the overall story, so you do have to play both to get the full experience, but if you don't care about that for gameplay-wise, Liberty Falls is probably the map for most people.
And with the features coming back, like we see in the trailer, the jet gun, the buried church, with things like that coming back, you know that the casual fans that have been, that think their favorite zombie map is the Kino one, the theater map. Zombie fans that think that are gonna love Liberty Falls because of that classic feel it's going to have compared to Terminus, which is gonna be all new. And we talk about, we want change, but that balance is there, and Liberty Falls looks like it's going to be that balance compared to Terminus, and I only see good things coming out of that. I can't see a world where Liberty Falls is seen as a terrible map, because it's just going to do its job, and it's going to do it very well.
100%.
That's the way I see it.
Yes.
But our next take here is from Guidos GG.
Yeah, I think his name's Kudos. I think that's how you say it. That's how I've heard it said before.
I've
heard someone say
him in person, and
how's he say it?
Guidos.
Okay,
I've called him Guidos in person. He either never fixed me, he either never told me it's wrong, or I'm right.
True.
I really
Hey,
hope
I
it's
could
the
be
second
wrong.
one. I really hope it's the second one. Anyways, we'll have you read off the take.
Thank you. Just like Origins, Black Ops 6 will divide the fan base and maybe even add an extra slice to that fan base, like splitting to the door that cost $12.50. We doing business here, saving and quitting to come back later. No more mama to tell us to get off the game. Okay, so let me read that again.
Sorry, I just threw this in because this made no sense.
Yeah, I'm reading that. Let me read that again. Just like Black Ops 6. Just like Origins, Black Ops 6 will divide the fan base and maybe even add an extra slice to the fan base. Like, okay, so and then these are all features that are gonna. Okay, so I think period, and then these are all the features that might split the fan base. Like, you know, like, oh, in Black Ops 6, there's all these, like, new features that are going to make a whole different sub-audience, kind of like in the same way how you have people who love Black Ops 1, people who love Black Ops 2, BO3 fans, and you have, like, a new sector of, like, Cold War fans. Like, BO6 might create a whole new fan base again.
Yeah,
Do you think that's what's going to happen with this game?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think everyone's going to be kind of united in this game together. I think that this game is going to be a lot like... I think this game's going to be a lot like Cold War. And what I'm worried about with this game... And honestly, this has nothing to do with this take. Because this take, I'm reading it. I just don't get it. Yes, the saving pods feature is great. No more mama telling us to get off the game. Yes, kudos. Or kudos, whatever you say. But... I'm worried that this launch is going to be amazing. That we're going to have such a massive launch. And then we're gonna have nothing for too long for content after.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. That's like my biggest worry in this game. Like the launch looks great, although they've had more time to make this, even though, you know, they've been thrown to Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3, even though there's a dope different studios, but they're still Treyarch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
we have this big launch. We're gonna have this crazy honeymoon phase that every COD has, and then after a month, what's next? Is it just going to be a gun? Is it just going to be a camo? Or are you going to tell us, hey, the next map's in December, and this is what it's going to be? I think that is really what's going to be the breaking point of this game.
Yeah. I think back to content drops between Zetsubo and Gorod, Dead of the Night and Ancient Evil. I think of MWZ just getting its momentum at Season 1, and then it completely drops off a cliff. Firebase Z and Outbreak we got within 2 weeks of each other, and then we had basically nothing all the way until July with Mauer.
Yeah.
So it was a
even
long
from D Machine to Firebase, that was November to February.
And it was D Machine.
Jingle Hells update.
Yeah, like I love D Machine. D Machine cannot carry that game for 4 months by itself.
No, I can't.
Or 3 months, so.
But our last take of the day, we're gonna have you read it off.
Oh, thank you.
It's our last take from somebody that is an avid commenter and always gives some of the most in-depth messages. Somebody that plays zombies too much like all of us. Plays it way too much like the rest of us. This is from my boy Lucario.
All right, coming in with the Lucario project. People are probably going to hate Black Ops 6 Gobblegums, or at least think that they're weaker than BO3s, because they won't be any game-breaking glitch to exploit and have an infinite amount of them with no consequences.
Are people gonna hate it because you can't dashboard?
Yeah, you can't dashboard.
Because the pause and save feature completely eliminates dashboarding. Completely.
Yeah, good point.
Completely eliminates it. Because they say even if you disconnect, you can just reconnect right away.
Now, that's only in a solo game, though, so I wonder if it counts in co-op, if you can disconnect and it doesn't count.
Well, you can disconnect and join into a co-op game.
Oh, true.
Again,
oh, yeah,
you can.
Good point.
So, are people gonna dislike the system because you can't cheat it? I think no. And the reason I think no is because of what you just told me with how you earn it.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to make the difference here. Because you can earn those Gobblegums in-game, not just have to buy con points and do 1 million to Liquid Divinium opening videos to get 1 million views to get more money to buy more Liquid Divinium.
I also think, with this game being built off of Cold War 2, in Cold War, you don't even need Gobblegums, and that game plays very well. Yeah. So, I seriously think Gobblegums will just be such an extra addition to the game that if you want to use them, you can. If you don't want to use them, I don't think the gameplay is going to require you to. So, I'm very much of the likelihood that Gobblegums they've designed them around being an extra feature and not as, I'm not going to say as essential as they are in BO3, because BO3 you can play without them, but BO3 really wants you to use them.
Yeah, BO3, there's even a step in Zetsubo where you gotta use anywhere but here. They really tell you, hey man, cough up that dough. I got money for you to spend, and it's right here. It's called Dr. Money's Factory.
Yeah. Also because like the advantages in BO3, you can't get an extra perk slot on most maps easily. Perkaholic
Yeah.
is right there, and you get every perk instantaneously. Whereas in
Yeah.
BO6 and Cold War, no perk slots. Perkaholic, it loses some of its value, but the gameplay is balanced for it.
Yeah,
So.
and even Soda Fountain, which we as
Soda
confirmed gonna
Fountain.
be in this next game, that's going to be way more use. It's not going to be as OP because you can buy it anyways. Don't matter.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
you're just saving yourself
yeah.
a few thousand points, which you can get by killing zombies. So
And-
I think that they've thought a lot about this to make sure it's not you shouldn't feel like you have to dashboard to keep them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as we close this video out, which has been 40 minutes long of reading people's
Wow.
takes, been a long video, time has flown fast. I think what we're kind of getting here is everyone has had their concerns with this game, but most of them we have been thinking and we think they've been answered. We definitely see that Treyarch is being more careful with all the systems they're putting in this game and not just sticking things to the wall and seeing what fits.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that every concern that I've seen so far, whether it's the HUD, the Gobblegums, the Pack-a-Punch, Double Tap, perks, whatever it may be, I think that Treyarch, and at least in my opinion, what I've seen so far, and that's obviously could change going up to launch, but everything I've seen so far, where you think of a concern, there's something there to combat it. And I think that I'm really excited because everything I've seen so far seems smart and calculated. And not just, all right, we need something to excite fans, let's just throw this in. You know what I mean?
100%.
Seems all
I
very
agree.
smart.
Yeah.
But, Stanley, I want to appreciate you for coming out to this video, man, reading some hot takes with me.
Absolutely.
I know you're the Voyage lover. Do you have anything really quick, any very quick hot take to throw out here?
Yeah,
Very
hot
quickly?
takes. Let me think. You're putting me on the spot here.
Right now.
Crap.
I need a take. I need one.
Let me think. Dead of the Night is not as underrated as people think it is. It's terrible. That map
Yes!
sucks.
F tier map.
It's
I hate
like
Dead of the Night.
it's
Yes!
not an S tier map. It's at most
No.
like a B- tier. But I'm
Oh,
also the guy that
well,
likes Voyage, so you don't want my
Well,
opinion. on it.
I think Dead of the Night's an F tier. I think it's like one of the worst ever. But
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. Go check out Stanley. He makes some of the best videos, and he streams. And go check him out. His link will be first in the description. So yeah. But thank you all so much for watching, guys. The absolute best. Leave a like and subscribe here. And I will see you all very, very soon.
so, I lied to you. I had one more hot take.